Huh?
That's all.
Okay, guys, sorry about that. We're back. We apologize, technical difficulties. I guess the Fords decided to shut us down because we're talking about something.
You think the Fords would do that?
I don't know. I wouldn't put past it to anybody.
Okay. Well,
So what we're trying to talk about here is sport and the tragic deaths in sport, and we were giving an example of the football player, this high school kid, mysteriously. But you're saying it's probably more because of the contact of the sport.
I just feel like look, I'm the type of person where I play basketball. I play all out. Everybody knows I'm going to put my body on the line.
Right.
I'm going to get hurt. And even though
Why?
my father has, I don't know what about it, but it's competition.
Okay.
And sometimes sports is life. It's like I hate players who come out to play and they're not going to give you the 100%. They're just there, to kind of play.
But
now
why
I
can't
get
they
it.
just come there and have fun?
It's not when it's competition. It's not just about fun. And competition is the fun part.
But competition, fine. But you don't have to elbow me in the face.
No,
to
but
get
I'm
the
not.
ball.
I'm not.
You
wait
don't
a
have
second.
to
Did I
charge
say?
me
Wait,
hard.
Did I say I'm trying to hurt you?
You said I'm going to go full out and put my body on the line.
Yeah.
Putting
that
your
doesn't-
body on the line means
putting my
most
body
likely going to come into contact with my body.
No. Putting my body on the line meaning like if there's a ball that goes out of bounds, I'm going to try and get it.
Right.
I'm going to try and steal. I'm going to try and block you. And with every sport, you go all out. Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. It's like that's what gets you. That's what the best athletes are the ones that are very competitive.
Right.
The reason that Michael Jordan is just because of his competitive mind. The only reason we're talking about LeBron James and Michael Jordan not being on the same level is because Michael Jordan was a real competitor, whereas LeBron James is just a really, really good player, but he doesn't have that Michael Jordan, like toughness, like Kobe Bryant had it. There's a specific type of toughness.
Yeah, but hold on a second.
Yeah.
Is there? Look, there's. So, for instance, I put an example there for a memo for us, Art and Senna, for racing, Formula One racing.
Yeah, people know that they're going to die.
Right. This guy died. This guy died on the track. Right.
Yeah.
Like he crashed into the wall at God knows 200 miles an hour. That's it. Gone. Obliterated. He knew that. For what? Right.
That's his life. He needs that thrill. That's what I'm saying. It's kind of ironic, but like that sports is life. But yet it causes a lot of death because you're putting your body on the line.
Okay, but so when I know, for instance, when I go to a sporting event, whether it's a hockey game, basketball, whatever, an auto race, I'm looking for a competitive matchup, right? I want everyone to bring their best,
right?
But they're professionals,
right?
Okay, elite athletes, training all the time,
right?
Right. So
they train not to get hurt,
right?
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they leave all that.
So it's more tragic when they do get, hurt, killed, maimed, whatever, But when people like yourself sort of want to emulate that,
right,
and play full on hard in a pickup game, like what's the point?
That's the point. That's what sports. I don't have to be the most amazing athlete. I don't have to be a superstar.
Right.
But it's all about the mindset of when you play sport, you play all out. Like, yes, maybe.
But what does all out mean? Like,
all out is meaning like you play hard.
Listen, I'm teaching.
You play to win. I don't know anybody that plays and tries to lose.
It's not about losing.
No, but you play to win. You play to win.
Why do I have to win it though? Why can't I just...
That's the goal. The goal is to win.
Why can't the goal be, I want to go out and I want to have fun. I want to enjoy myself. I
You're
like this
game.
You're
getting all that.
I want to win.
Yeah.
Yes, I want to win. I want to be a champion.
But that's what competition is.
But why do I have to laser set my vision for this, that's the goal? Why can't the goal be, you know what? I'm getting fitness. I'm enjoying myself. I have a camaraderie of a team. I have sportsmanship. I'm learning. I'm bonding with people. I have skill. Why aren't those the goals?
Mm-hmm. They should be maybe,
right?
But I don't think they are.
Because I think they are. Because, for instance,
if you're an athlete or if you play sport, you should have the mentality, I'm trying to win. Now, that doesn't mean cheating. That doesn't mean that trying to hurt anybody. Because at the end of the day, you still need to follow the rules. You still need to abide by, regulations or whatever it is.
Okay.
However, you try to win.
Right.
You try to compete. And you do that with anything relating to sport. Yes, there are those that come out, like I remember I took a friend a few months ago to play, and we're playing against these like younger kids, and he wasn't even trying, and it was pissing me off. Because it wasn't like, I want to lose to these kids.
Right.
It was more like, I was like, why don't you put the energy I came here in order to like get a real workout and not just like, dribble the ball around. I didn't need to compete. You could have just shot the ball, played, like just a fun game. But when you're competing, when there's like, again, that's what sport is all about. It's all about competition. It's all about trying to win. And if you're not going at this to win, I don't know if you're there really for the sport. You want to run on a treadmill. Like, no one's running after you.
No, listen, but it's...
But also, you're trying to probably beat your own record from last week. You're trying to compete against yourself.
So golf.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
You are essentially competing against yourself.
That's right.
Okay.
And you're competing against others also.
Right. Listen, there's a difference between goal setting.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess here's where I'm kind of looking at it.
Okay.
Like my 5-year-old is getting now into sport. I put him into hockey. Hockey is an extremely competitive sport. There are parents, thinking that they've got the next one, next one.
Right.
Budding superstar right there, and they've got to groom them.
Ron Einbinder has one of those kids. Yeah, amazing hockey player.
But the likelihood of you becoming one of a handful of people who play the sport professionally and get paid the millions and millions.
But
it
has nothing to do with it.
It does have something to do with it.
Why?
Because that fuels the goal of competition. You're saying it's to compete, to bring it. Nothing brings it than the guy that gets the most recognition out of it and being literally, quote unquote, the best for it. Become an Olympian.
I don't think you play for the same reason.
No.
I don't think you play for the same reason.
The Olympians, the professional athletes play for that reason. Because for them, that is the ultimate form of competition. That is the ultimate form of premier dominance, to show that I am the best at this, or I am so elite that I'm in such rare air company.
Okay.
Most people who play sport don't do that. When you introduce sports as a kid, it's meant, again...
What sport do you play? Like, baseball seems to me like, pardon my French, a ball-scratching, game. It's just like a whatever. Like, let's hang out, we can have a beer while I'm playing. You're talking about hockey? No. That's a real sport. Football, real sport. Basketball, real sports. There's a lot of competition. You're trying to outdo somebody else. You're trying to win. You have that motivation, that goal.
I don't think
that's... And it doesn't...
You don't have to be the goal.
You don't have to be... Maybe not. But I feel like...
I'd like to make that point.
I understand what you're saying.
No,
but you're saying like no, it just should be for fun, and I'm saying
I'm not saying it just should be for fun.
I don't know. Like
there is not in school.
When I play frisbee, I'm not really competing.
I want to be the best multiplication student. I want to be the best mathematician.
Who said I wasn't?
Be the best speller.
Who said I wasn't?
But you can't live life through that.
Why not?
Because that doesn't do anything for you.
What do you mean doesn't do anything?
It's a false confidence. What if you suck at it?
Then you suck at it, but you got to give it your best.
Okay.
You got it. So
now you're talking about something. Okay, now you're talking about perseverance. Now you're talking about enduring. Now you're talking about not giving up and not quitting. That doesn't mean be the best. It means be your best.
You strive.
Be your best.
You strive to be
Ron,
the best.
there's a difference between...
You strive for it.
There's a difference between being out of whatever lucky fact... LeBron James is LeBron James in large part because of sheer luck.
Sheer luck?
Yes.
No, it's not.
I will tell you why.
Why? Because he's big?
No.
Because he's 6'8"?
No, listen.
Why?
Listen, let me make the point.
Okay.
I am not taking away anything from Michael Jordan is Michael Jordan out of sheer luck. There is an element of it could have been anybody, right?
No.
Yes, they worked hard.
No.
They have skill. They developed that skill. They were in the right place at the right time. They had coaches who were supporting them. They had parents who would take them to the practices. We hear all those stories about the perseverance, but why did they ultimately become the best of the best?
Because they worked really hard.
They worked hard. I have a lot of kids.
I have
a lot of kids that work really hard that can't and won't ever achieve that success.
Right.
But it doesn't mean that they weren't successful.
No, but no one's talking about not being successful. Like, you don't have to be at the top of your class.
You don't have to kill yourself to prove you're the best at something.
Again, so this is what really we're talking about.
Right?
This is the conversation we're talking about. Is sport life? Like, should we look at it from your perspective where it's just like, hey, let's play a competitive game.
Sean, I hate that expression.
Let's just have fun.
Sean Sitzman, if you're on a team, you're required to give 110%. I hate that. Other than mathematically, that's impossible. Okay,
You're silly.
No,
I don't think you're a competitor. I don't think you're a competitor.
100% I'm a competitor.
I don't think you are. You gotta have it. You gotta have it.
Listen,
you gotta have it. Every sport that you go into,
I don't.
You have to have that competitive edge.
What I have to have is a focus and a determination to be my best. To be successful for me.
What is your goal? So let's
So my basketball.
Yeah.
My goal is to make a 3-point shot.
That's your goal?
Maybe that's my goal. My goal is to go and have fun and bond with the team. I want to contribute. If we're playing in a competitive league where we're chasing after a trophy, Yeah, I want to win first place. I want to be a trophy. I want to mean something to my team. I want to be good at something. But I also want to support my teammates, and I want to make sure that they're having a fun time. I don't want to be looked down upon because if I missed a shot, then all of a sudden I'm a piece of crap.
No, but it's not. But if you took the wrong shots,
so what?
If you're no, that's not so what. That's the thing about it. That's where it comes to sport. This is why I'm saying you're not that type of guy. Like,
yeah, I'm glad I'm not.
No,
that
but it's okay. And again, like I'm
healthier.
Absolutely, I'm suffering for being that person.
Right.
But that's the idea of sport to me. And
I'm talking
and I'm talking about like most people who play sports.
Okay, you're in the Olympics. You're in the Olympics, and you finished 4th. You suck. Crap.
Yeah, I'd be very disappointed. The amount of work that you do.
Is it worse that you were last or 4th? You only get a medal if you're 3. Does it matter if you're 4th?
Yeah.
If you ain't first, you're last. Ricky Bobby.
No. Again,
it's the same thing.
No,
that's not unhealthy lifestyle.
I don't think it's the same thing.
Because I look at it like, how many people get to go to the Olympics? I would rather finish last in an Olympic event than never even be there.
That's the thing. I don't think you were that dedicated to. If you were that,
I don't think that's a matter of dedication.
If you were that dedicated to the craft, to the sport,
pick me last. Son.
No. But if you're that dedicated to the sport,
right,
it will be a serious disappointment to just make it to the Olympics and not do well.
Listen, of course.
No, it's not. Of course, look, it's real.
Look,
this is that's what sport is all about.
When you put any kind of reward at the end,
I don't need the reward.
But that's what it is.
When we play basketball, and again, I'm using basketball because it's like a sport where I play more often. Even when I played squash, like I would like try to win to the end.
But that's not healthy. Where's the fun? If you're playing squash,
it's fun. Look, when you know that you gave it. If I lost giving 1,000%, wait. If I lost giving 1,000%, at least I know that I gave it my all. But if I know that I just came out,
did you give 1,000% here?
No, I'm not. I'm drinking.
But we had a competition.
Yeah. It's totally different.
Why?
It's totally different.
Why? It's a challenge.
It's totally different.
I said I beat you. You didn't.
It's totally.
Are you disappointed in yourself?
I am disappointed.
Are you going to go drink like 17 bottles afterwards and practice and rematch me?
It's a lot different.
No, because there's a healthy balance somewhere in there, right? It's a silly thing.
No, it's nothing to do with that.
Right?
There's something about sport that just you need an edge in order to be a. You need
I
to
don't
have
disagree.
That. So,
but edge
by the way,
does not mean
and
I
have an edge when it comes to competition. Like I have an edge
Okay.
when it comes to competition.
You know what?
That's it.
Maybe we just leave it here.
Okay.
We're a little late on the time.
Sport is life.
Yeah. All right. Let's just go to our little final piece here. Big cactus, small cactus.
Okay.
This is kind of like the big deal, no big deal.
Right. So
we're just gonna chime in these little like lightning round concepts. Okay. UFC 229. I wanna skip one down because I don't want to.
You want to talk about it right away? Huh?
I just do. I say tiniest cactus in the world.
You are an idiot. I have to say it out loud. You are. Like the idea we talked about this before. Like you don't have to be the type of person where like you follow a sport. But UFC is the biggest it's not hugging.
They're hugging.
No, I'd love to hug you right now.
You need for half an hour.
Mixed martial arts. That means karate, boxing, Thai, jiu-jitsu, wrestling.
Before you jump all over me.
The type of athlete you have to be. The reason that they're on top of each other, it's like a chess match.
It's not exciting.
It's like saying I am not saying. It's like saying the checkers is much better than chess because
I would
checkers.
rather watch competitive checkers.
That's a big problem. I know. You don't have it. You don't have
Listen
it.
to me.
You don't have it.
Here's the thing. I think if we're talking about UFC, and it's just on the concept. Why are we talking about 229? Because there was a brawl that broke out after. A brawl broke out after the sanctioned fight.
I would have talked about it.
Paid money.
I would have talked about 229 even prior to that.
Listen to me, because you're weird like that.
What do you mean I'm weird? The entire world is watching this. Nobody's watching. What did they average? Like 3 million buyers? 3 million buyers?
3 million insane people want to watch people hug. I want to watch you put me in a hold and rub my head against the fence for half an hour until you quit. You give up. That's not fine. Boxing, they're hitting each other, then moving.
Challenge.
No, I'm not going to go in a UFC ring.
You and I are going to go into a ring.
I don't doubt.
And I want to see, when I'm putting you against the cage, when I have my elbows grinding your face.
Listen to me.
You tell me that,
let's be clear.
Babysitting.
Let's be clear. I am not disputing for 1 second, that these guys are extremely tough, athletic, fit individuals and skilled with a variety of, I get it, mixed martial arts.
I don't think you get it.
I do get that.
No, if you just say they lie on top of each other,
that's
just like
what
that
happens every time I watch a UFC fight. There's a guy. His head is I'm not talking about wrestling.
Because wrestling,
I'd rather watch wrestling. It's more entertaining.
Wrestling and jiu-jitsu, not the type of wrestling you watch.
No, I'm talking about
WWE.
Yeah, Ric Flair,
talking
baby.
about real wrestling.
That's more entertaining. That's more entertaining. These guys sit
because it's not competition.
They jump each other.
There you go. It's not competition.
They smack his face. They smack his face into the fence.
It's not competition. That's bull. It's a script. It's an act. It's a circus. You're comparing real athletes
boxing. There's more movement. There's more. But it's boring. They sit there and you guys watch it and you pay $50 to privilege to sit there and watch something that'll either over in an instant because he knocked him out with some crazy kick to the face.
That's super competitive. What? A crazy kick to the face?
Yeah, once in a while.
Before the kick to the face.
It's no different than when you used to watch Mike Tyson fight and it wasn't a fair thing. Because you get in the ring with him and within 3 minutes you were toast.
No, the media made him that big. Yesterday there was another fight, all right? Let's forget about that one. There was another fight. Yeah. And there was a guy who was, 3 rounds, for 2.5 rounds, he was being picked, meaning kicked, punched. The guy tried everything.
Right.
But you knew that if that big guy would land just one punch, it's going to be a knockout. That's exactly what happened. It was, in my opinion, one of the best fights to see. And yes, you're expecting that. But the idea is you're taking these two warriors who have all these tools and they're now able to, it's kind of like saying, two guys with swords, who are not actually cutting each other. It's not that interesting, even though you have two great athletes hitting swords, and one person isn't able to hit the other one.
What the hell sort of sport are you watching?
Well, no, but if you're seeing back in the day, warriors,
old
you're watching them. Oh, but yeah,
dude,
he didn't cut his head off.
I'd rather watch a knight joust another guy and tuck him off a horse with a lance. I really would. Just UFC. I'm sorry, small cactus.
Big cactus, huge cactus.
Let's do, because of time.
And we're not even talking about what happened afterwards.
No, so let's talk about it. At the end of the day, the price is wrong. I'm talking about David Price, baseball pitcher for the now Boston Red Sox in the playoffs. This guy has arguably an incredible
season player.
Regular season, 162 games, plays his 30 or so games a year, pitches.
Yeah.
Amazing. Respectable ERA for those of you who follow
baseball. He loved being in Toronto when he was here. He didn't want to leave.
Didn't want to leave. They didn't want to keep him, and I'm glad they paid him $200 million to win. The guy's 0-10 in the playoffs. Can't win a game when you need to.
See, the thing is about baseball. Yes, pitching is very, very important, but what about the other guys who are not doing their part? I don't think it's just supposed to be about the pitcher. Yes, he has 0-10, agreed, horrible in the playoffs. I'm with you, but there are other players who are not pushing their weight around. They're not scoring. They're not scoring.
I'll give you. I'll tell. So
what was the score? 6-2.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
You have these amazing players. You were the number one team in the American League, and in the playoffs, you only score 2 runs,
and that's not good enough.
That's not good enough.
Now, personally, I hate Boston, and I don't care.
Me too.
But at the end of the day, here's the difference in baseball. Keep in mind, you're talking about a sport that measures success as really being, failed 7 out of 10 times, and you're an amazing player in terms of hitting, for instance. Right. Okay, that you go up to bat 10 times, you whiffed out 7 times.
It's really hard to hit.
You're considered amazing in the game.
It's one of the hardest things to do.
Yeah. So if you take that perspective in the first place, and then you add the fact that I think when you have a guy who's got a reputation like Price, and he'll win you the games to get you to the playoffs, but then he can't win the games when you're in the playoffs, I think that confidence rubs off, or that lack of confidence rubs off onto the players. And it's like in hockey, when you've got your starting goalie in net, you want to play hard, you want to play your best to keep him, because he's going to save your butt and keep you in the game.
Right.
When he goes down and it's the backup, you're like, oh.
I know, but if you don't have good defense,
the
Leafs last year,
maybe it's a matter.
But like the Leafs last year,
right? But maybe it's a maybe.
Can you judge the goalie like the Leafs?
Yeah.
Can you judge the goalie?
Anderson?
We didn't have. Yeah,
he bailed them out huge.
Yeah, but nobody's talking about him. Everybody was talking about defense.
No, they were talking about him.
They were talking about the defense.
No,
Gardner especially.
Listen, tonight they were talking. Tonight I think they won 7-6. There is no defense in a game like that.
Right.
Okay.
But we don't have. Yeah, we definitely have to work on our defense.
Well, but the idea is.
But you blame the goalie.
For 7 goals,
they won.
Hell's yeah, you
6 goals.
6 goals. Sure, well, either one of them.
But he won.
A win is a win, yes. But
this guy doesn't have the wins.
Hold on a second. If you look at it and sort of say, okay, but every time we play, that means we got to score 7, or we got to hit 8 runs or 10 runs, or whatever. You know what I mean? that says about a lot about something about how everyone else has to bring their A game or up their A game even more.
So I'm not pushing here for price. I just feel like the way it's done. For example, Crenshaw or Kenshaw. What was it? What is his name? Kenshaw, right? Well, Kershaw. I don't really follow baseball. It's probably the one I don't care much for.
Clayton.
So yeah, plays for LA. Amazing during the season. Probably one of the best.
He just had a gem the other night.
Right. So that's the thing. And they're like, wow.
Yeah.
But he's never had this type of game.
But pitching.
He's never had this type of game.
When you're motivated to win, you know there's something on the line, right?
But he lost the last few years. He's been horrible.
Look, to me, at the end of the day,
what's his record? What's his record for the last few years?
Couldn't even tell you.
He probably won one game.
At the end of the day, Kershaw's been
in the playoffs he's won.
He's been much better.
I don't think much better in the last 3 years.
Sean look that up for us since you're watching.
Please.
But I'm pretty sure
in the last 3 years, I want you to tell me how many wins.
Clutch pitcher, says the gentleman. I know I'm right.
He is clutch, but not in the playoffs.
I think you're wrong.
Really? So tell me how many championships does he have? Zero. Let's go with it. Zero. One time to the World Series. One time.
So look at David Price. $200 million and you haven't won jack.
I'm not a Price fan.
I'm saying big cactus. I'm saying
get out of here.
I'm saying that's
next. Yeah.
All right.
Can't believe we gave Price so much time. We should go back to UFC. Don't do that. I want to choke you so bad.
Listen, we're running late on time. We're overtime.
Are we? No, we're not.
Yeah, it's 10 after 10 with the delays and everything.
Okay.
We're a little later. We usually like to finish up in an hour. So,
okay.
So why don't we do this?
Wait, there were other things.
There were other things. So you want to... I don't want
to... Yeah, Kavanaugh. I know you don't want... I know you want to skip that one. I know. I don't understand why you want to skip it, but is it a big deal or not big deal that now he's in the Supreme Court?
No, that's a big cactus.
It's a big cactus.
Yeah, it's a huge.
It's a huge
cactus.
One, right? Now,
it's a prickly.
But I'd
cactus.
like to know from your end because clearly we differ on our opinions. Why is it a big deal for you?
It's in a weird way. I wasn't surprised that he was nominated. I was extremely disappointed, considering what the allegations were. Considering again the position that
I love how you said allegations. It's allegations. It's not. If it was proven and they said, well, and it still happened years ago, I would have been like, okay.
Here's the point: they never got to fully prove. Okay, and whatever information and testimony that was up there was damning, and was at the very least should have said, you know what, maybe this is not the guy to rule the next generations of Americans' futures and decisions, and to sway the legal and moral compass of the country.
But aside from
that,
because it's an allegation.
Just a second, We're not done. You have a very credible series of witnesses' testimony by the victim herself. She was 100%. I believed her. Okay. And I think a lot of Americans believe her.
I believe that a lot of Americans believe her.
And I think that when you have so many
I'm not saying people, I don't disbelieve her.
When you have so many people who just point that finger, and you have to do your due diligence and look into the matter and look in FBI. What did they discover in 3 days? Like bullshit. That was a farce. That was a political maneuvering because they felt like
political maneuvering by who? Political maneuvering by who?
By Trump and co.
By Trump and co.
Yeah.
Because
they limited they limited this. My understanding is they limited the scope of what the FBI could further investigate when they actively, openly called for an FBI investigation, and the FBI was limited to what they could or couldn't do. At the end of the day, what I'm saying is, you want your conservative, you want your guy who's going to overturn abortion rights, you want your guy who's going to give you whatever you need. There are plenty of other judges out there with better character and better moral decision making, but and going back to an age again, we're not talking about when he's 5 years old and he hit a kid or stole a toy, and we're not talking about when he's 10 years old and did some, took a candy bar from a store. He assaulted a woman.
No, you're
in
saying
high
this.
school.
No, you're saying this.
I'm not saying this. She's saying it.
No, she's saying this,
and she backs it up.
No,
she remembers expert testimony. It's a story that she's consistently said to very few people because he wasn't a public figure. When you bring this guy to the center stage and you say he's going to be the judge, literally the judge of what is morally acceptable.
What if he's innocent? I'm just asking.
Then he is owed. Then he should sue the hell out of everybody.
So
he has.
So you don't know.
Just a second. He has legal repercussions and recourse to clear his name if his name was in fact muddied and it was completely, as alleged by the Republicans, to say that this was a total scam and a whitewash to try and, put them down. You have a serious situation on your hands where the question marks around there. Even the president at one point said, "Look, the testimony that was pretty crappy."
And I'm not.
You can't stick with that guy. That just can't be your guy.
Why?
Because morally, it is bankrupt. You are literally telling women. You are literally telling half the population.
If he was guilty, then you're telling women.
No, who's deciding? Who's deciding?
Wait a second.
No, stop.
Let me make my point. If he was guilty, no, you spoke enough.
No, you wait.
If he was guilty,
you're not letting women have a voice. You're not letting women have a voice.
Why am I not letting women have a voice?
Because they're afraid, as it is, to come to the forefront and say.
We're talking about this specific issue.
This specific issue, she kept quiet for so long because of the shame that comes with the crime. And the victim is shamed, and she wasn't believed, and it was no big deal because we just did Eiffel Tower and we're high school and we're chugging beers with Tobin and buddies. It's insane that you're going to be the guy that's going to then decide what morally is correct or not correct for someone else. I am sorry. He can't be the moral compass. Nobody knows. This is not the guy.
So if you're saying nobody knows and yet let's go. But everything he had to go through for this entire time. He's a human being at the end of the day. Imagine what his life is.
He's flawed.
How do you know? How do you know? Did
you not listen to the guy talk in the Supreme?
What did he say? Beer? That he has beer with his friends?
Did you hear how he talked?
I saw
how
the full thing.
How he eloquently defended himself?
I watched the full thing.
And you thought this is the guy that should be the Supreme Court
I'm not even
Justice.
I'm not even talking about that.
That's what we are talking about.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about you and many people are right away saying guilty.
No.
You're saying guilty. Yes?
I'm saying...
You're saying guilty.
No, I'm
saying... If he's guilty...
I'm saying look at the way that he carried himself in that Senate hearing. Look at the way that he carried himself in the whole process.
Man, I should never be in court. If I was in court, even if I was completely right...
It's okay to be a passionate...
And for me to be judged by...
The guy...
You don't have enough...
The guy...
If there was evidence, I would say yes.
Evidence. 100%. He's evidence.
I disagree.
Who keeps calendars from 1982?
Listen, to be the person that he is, he has to be a little bit crazy. You have to be. In order for you to go through a track record that he had, there needs to be a little bit of something there. However, again, I'm not saying that he did it. He didn't do it. I'm saying we don't know. We don't know. And for us to say that he's guilty, then I'd say, you know what? Look, he's guilty.
We'll have to agree to
definitely
disagree.
Not the guy.
I think it's a big deal for. Like at the end of the day, the question, it's a big deal. I think this is a huge mistake. The vote itself was narrow as it could be, and I think that what's more important is not so much that he got in, but it's that people let him in, and that it just shows to the system, the message it sends to women in particular is that it doesn't matter, ladies, what happens to you, and you're on your own, and too bad, so sad, because the system is against you, and I think that is disgusting.
I think it's disgusting that we look at it that way. And the fact that we're
that's what it is. If that's how you look at it, this guy shouldn't be in there.
I think it's disgusting that you're looking at it.
They let Clarence Thomas in. They did the same thing 30 years ago. Same thing. He assaulted a woman. She went and spoke eloquently, and she told her story specifically with such detail. Who cares? He should be in. Bill Clinton. She kept the goddamn dress. He should have been out. He doesn't get to be the moral voice on this, and I see people post about that.
Right, of course.
And that is literally the pot calling the kettle black, or whatever the expression is.
Right.
That guy shouldn't have opened his mouth, okay, at all. But he's trying, at the very least, I get it, to sort of just say, well, maybe she should be heard, maybe there should be some.
But of course, she should be heard. Who here is saying she shouldn't be heard? Who here is saying that she doesn't have the right to express herself, to tell the story?
Yeah.
But I'm saying, you want to prove it? You want to prove it happened?
They didn't allow for that to happen.
Then they should. And you know what? If
that's the case, if you want to prove it, then you say, you know what? We're going to take this guy off to the side. Yeah. We're going to figure out. We're going to prove it, and we're not going to have a nominee right now. We're going to work with an 8-panel judge, and we'll have some constitutional tiebreaker situation, and we'll deal with it. We'll figure this guy out for sure, and then we'll put you in there. No, why? Because they're in a rush. Because it's election season. They got to get votes. They got to get votes.
That's a big problem. But here's my question to you: how come she is not going to sue? What
is that going to do for her?
Will prove her point.
No, it won't.
That she did it. Yes.
No, it's just that's more punitive.
Why? Because
that's punitive.
If I know for a fact that I was wrong, I'm going to fight until the end.
Because that's America.
I will fight until the end.
You know what, Ron? That's
to prove myself.
That's the American part of your argument here, and that's the American part of America. We can sue the crap out of anybody for anything.
No.
Spill a cup of coffee on you, sue.
How is this?
Why does she have to sue him to prove anything?
What do you mean?
She knows what happened. She knows her truth.
But
she knows her
you're telling
experience.
me that they went really, really fast with all the evidence.
They did.
Perfect. So now have a fair trial. and put this guy on the hot seat.
They should, but that's...
Now they should.
But you know whose responsibility that is?
Whose?
The people who are saying, maybe we should put this guy up for the Supreme Court. Maybe those people should take a look and go, you know what? Shoot, why don't we take a look at this candidate a little more closely? This is damning. Let's look at it for real. And let's not try and sweep it under the rug, give Trump the points, get the Republican GOP party up in arms and say, look, we got our guy, go vote for us now.
I don't give two hoots about the conservatives, Trump. I don't care about any of this stuff.
That's all what's connected to it.
But
it's the only reason why he's even nominated.
I'm talking about it.
He's Trump's pick.
I'm talking about it from a point of, if he did it, get the hell out of here. Go to jail, do whatever.
Right.
But you haven't proved it. You haven't proved it.
Because you haven't proved it because the people who want him, including himself, to be in that power, don't want to have that.
But you see it from the other side too. Who actually helped with this allegation?
No, I don't. Listen,
you don't see how the liberals also had something to do with this.
Look, if you're going to sit here and think for 1 minute that there's no political motivations on either side of the spectrum to not have or to have this guy in charge,
the problem.
Fine, but
that's the problem is that it's about politics and not about what's fair and not fair.
So this guy,
so it's what's fair and not fair.
So somehow, some kind of independent something or other should happen, and not a 4-day FBI.
That I can agree with.
So that
I can agree with.
Right,
that there should have been a different one. Any comments about it?
Oh, tons.
I'd love that.
Simona is adding here. He's a prick.
But he's a prick.
Wait. There's more.
No, but how do you know this? Like, do you know?
She
this
would be
person?
mad. Would he be so mad if he was innocent?
Yes.
Sean saying it's innocent until proven guilty. We haven't seen anything to support her claim. There's a disagreement about that. Everyone who says that he's innocent is not allowing her to have her chance at justice. According to Sean, he had 36 years. Again, I think that's most victims don't run out and tell the first cop they see because they're always being questioned, and that's true. I think there is that victimization of that double, triple standard for women that they have to this burden of proof.
I think you're making this about the women, and I'm talking about it as I don't think it's about the woman part. Listen, and a lot of people are making this. I don't think it's about it. For me,
what's it about?
It's about the justice. Did it happen or did it not? Let the courts decide.
But the courts weren't able to decide because of the pressures.
So they should.
The pressures surrounded to not allow it to go there.
Which sucks. This is the problem that I'm having. Not necessarily because I don't know. Like, again, as I said, as somebody that's never laid his hand on a woman.
Not you and not me, we weren't there.
No. But as somebody that's never laid his hand on a woman, I have been told many times by certain people, I'm not going to get into it, who have accused me of doing something like this. But can you imagine? No, I'm just. Look, I want to talk now, maybe as somebody who is making this somewhat personal. I've had plenty of times where people have said something as ridiculous as that I've raised a hand, that I've done something horrible.
Right.
Call these people out. Yes, I'll be defensive about it. Yes, I'll stand up, but until the end. And I fought. These specific people, I fought. You know what I had?
He never answered.
You know what
anything.
I had? You know what I had? Thankfully, texts showing that this never happened.
And he never did any of that stuff.
You're talking about 40, 50 years ago or whatever.
Does it make it any better?
No, but now it's hearsay.
It's not hearsay.
But now it's hearsay.
It's literally her telling you what happened, her vivid recollection.
I'll tell you,
consistent with the stories that she told her husband in private.
These specific people,
with the story she told with her shrink in private.
I guarity you, these people who I'm talking about probably have the same consistent story.
Listen, so either she's mentally ill,
right,
and she's living in this misconceived perception of reality for 40 years that this thing happened and has some subsequent had these domino effect on her life, and she's told the story and she's sticking to it and she lives by this method, and it's a very well conceived deception, knowing that in some part this will come back to him and use it against him in some future way and play.
By the way, he's been a judge for a very long time.
I'm surprised
it didn't come out beforehand, but it came out now at a perfect timing.
But you know what?
At a perfect timing. And I think this is where politics is playing a role.
Okay.
No, so it's not okay.
I bet you it came out then and they just didn't care.
I don't know.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I don't know. That's a different story. Now it's all assumption. I don't know.
It's all assumption. Anyway,
I don't know.
We're done.
All right. How do we make this fun? What listen, the bottom line is I want to see if he's guilty, he should pay the price.
Right.
But if you can't prove that he's guilty, then you have to kind of move on, because he was under a lot of scrutiny. Look, at the end of the day, last week we talked about killing people, right? Like the death penalty.
Yeah.
So you technically, in some ways, kind of killed this person's everything he's worked hard for. You killed it. You presume that he's guilty. Everything that he's done up until now, you presume that he's guilty for it. You've killed this character.
Right.
Right? But you're about, hey, evidence,
Trust me, this guy didn't get any character assassination now. He got what he wanted.
No,
He's set for life.
I don't think...
he just got confirmed.
Think about his family. Yeah, so what?
Who cares?
Think about his family.
He's got a job for life.
You're who cares.
No,
that's the thing. You're saying who cares.
I'm saying that he is not the victim here. He never was.
His
job is to be scrutinized. When he applied, look,
when it
you know
came
what?
out,
Here's the deal. He applied for a position. He was made promises. There was a lot of shady backroom deals, and it happens on both sides of the aisle. Let's not kid ourselves,
right?
Okay. Somebody had a slightly better investigator on the other end, and tried and caught him, and the system and his cronies saved him, because they're not interested in having true justice and really taking this out as it was already coming and see it through to the end. It just didn't happen. They weren't interested in it. They just wanted it to go away, and that's what they made happen. They used their majority political power. They spent a lot of campaign, and he owes a lot of favors now. And one of the first few favors that's going to happen is he's going to start reversing a lot of pre-existing law.
I agree with you about the politics.
I agree with
you about the politics.
That's all that's going to come out of his...
I agree with you that it's disgusting.
That's going to come out of his character, because I'll tell you what, Clarence Thomas, he was the Democratic choice, and he did something just as horrific, and it was alleged and it was testified, and Anita Hill was made to look like a fool, and she was vilified, and she was embarrassed and humiliated, and at the end of the day, he's wearing a black robe, and he's making the laws, and it's 20 years later, and again, nobody was talking about it for the last 20, 30 years. Here, history came to repeat itself. There was an opportunity to do the right thing.
That
didn't happen.
But this is what I want to say. You're saying, so you're trying to fix a problem that happened before?
It's a fix a problem
on somebody who may or may not be guilty. If he was guilty, I'd be with you. I'd be with you 1,000%. I'd say no question.
We don't know.
But you don't know.
We don't know.
We don't know.
And you know why? We'll never find out.
But you're trying to punish him. But you're trying to punish him for something that somebody else did.
I'm trying to find the truth. I'm saying,
are you really?
Yeah.
You pronounced them guilty.
No, I'm saying let's have a proper investigation.
I'm with you on that.
Let's not post this guy to the position that requires moral compass straight as an arrow. And sadly. Listen, we're all
also. So I'll tell you something else. Now,
but I'm saying they didn't. They never got to that point, and they never wanted.
I grew up in a nice neighborhood, nice Israeli neighborhood, where if somebody would do something like this, right? Then that would be sort of the character, right? Like, meaning it's not going to be a one time. Has there been any other allegations that he's done something similar? Because there's a trend. If you're stealing once, there's a likelihood you're going to steal again. It's a trend.
We'd have to really, truly look at what his views on women. He's obviously not a women's rights. He's not. He's an anti-abortionist, right? So there's this big fear now that he's going to use his position on the court to demand an overturn of the Roe v. Wade abortion situation. There's a lot going on over there that you can say a lot just because he doesn't go around. No one, and some people went too far. Some people went too far and called him a rapist. Nobody ever proved that. That's. I agree with you. That's horrible, and those people should be held to account. That's slander, and if that doesn't come out as accurate, those people have a heavy price to pay, and they should, to the full extent of the law. And he should pursue everyone in that regard. But the problem is, he himself didn't want to have all those skeletons come out to play from the closet, and he wouldn't allow it. Trump wouldn't allow it, certain Republican lawmakers wouldn't allow it, and the entire system behind it wouldn't allow it, because their goal was politically motivated above all else, above all whether she was true or he was true. That wasn't it. It was, we got this guy,
but you're only bringing one side of the issue.
They want to die on that hill. That's the issue.
But what the issue is that it's funny that you're only looking at it from this is what the conservatives are doing, as opposed to the liberal play that happened.
The liberal play that happened was the timing.
And again, if this person is guilty, I'm saying, I'm playing this off. If this person is guilty, sit in jail. You're not the right person.
Okay.
But right now, you don't have the evidence. You can't go out and say he's completely guilty.
To my understanding, they had to drag her into the room to say what she said, right? She didn't come forth voluntarily. They dug her up.
Well, she said, "I don't want." Yeah, who dug her up and found her?
No, of course.
Who? The conservatives dug her up? No. The liberals are like, "Come on, you've got it. We've got something here.
Yes.
Help us out."
Because it's wrong. Because
he
wasn't the candidate.
It wasn't about that. He wasn't the candidate. It was a different type of play. That's the thing. You just kind of, in some ways, gave it to me that the liberals
but he did
brought that in.
But wait. But he did it then? They couldn't.
Who did it?
Are you suggesting for a moment then?
Yeah.
That the liberals, the liberal lawmakers, whoever,
yeah,
who convinced her to come,
yeah,
got her to make this entire thing all make up?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe there's something. I don't know if it's the full thing.
Maybe.
And again, I tell you because.
Listen,
as a person,
there's a lot of morally reprehensible people
stand here,
that have to held to account. The people that brought her to the room, if the motivation wasn't, and I would agree with you, if the motivation wasn't, we're looking for justice for you, or as opposed to we're just looking to cock block this guy from being on the I've been pardon that pun, but no, and it wasn't a pun intended in that way. But the idea that we're trying to block this guy from being on the nomination, and we don't want him on the court, and we're going to do everything in our power to stop him. You know what?
You think that didn't happen?
For sure, it happened.
Obviously happened.
But the point is, the information was brought forward, and nothing was done about it.
Okay,
and that's the problem. That's the big deal.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Right?
She should continue to sue him. She should.
I don't think suing him.
He should sue her.
I don't think suing him.
Well, whatever.
At this point, no, because suing him.
It's not at this point.
No, suing him at this point would only result in some kind of.
If I know for a
financial
fact,
penalty,
like those,
right? I don't think she can sue him criminally.
Those
individuals, to go to jail.
Those individuals
right?
that I was talking about before that accused me or said whatever it is.
Yeah.
If this actually went out, like it came out, I would sue the living crap out of them. I would embarrass them like you wouldn't believe to try and hurt me this way by lying about my personality. And here's the thing: people would go, well, Ron sometimes does get aggressive. Well, Ron sometimes is opinionated. Oh, yeah, and that's it. I'm guilty. Even though none of this stuff ever happened, none of it. It's completely ridiculous.
Listen, I agree. I agree with that.
What are you going to do? Say that my personality calls for it?
No, unquestionably, there is a in the concept of rape culture, this fear that there's this dominance of male dominant society that women are afraid to speak up and don't have control over their bodies and don't have their own rights, and I think that there's legitimacy to that argument.
I understand.
And
that.
hold on a second.
I get it.
And then there's at one point there was this fear of like, well, when can a guy just be a guy and kind of just flirt with a girl or ask her out or whatever and not mean anything other than just a playful attempt at bonding, mating, whatever. I get all that, but at some point, somebody comes out and says something, and truth is important, and it needs to be found. And if we're relying on the judgment of others, it does come down to character. It does come down to history. It does come down to evidence. But if you're not allowing that process to go forward fully and openly and transparently, you're not helping the situation. You're only making it genuinely worse for those people who truly, unquestionably suffered a crime. And that's the issue that the liberal proponents were trying to bring forth, using her in a way, and yes, I said using her in a way to highlight that here's a woman that, despite whatever happened to her, was able to become successful and move forward with her life and to overcome those obstacles, and him in his own way did whatever the same thing through his opportunities and privileges, etc., made something of himself.
Right.
But the question becomes that, hey, when we were together, this happened, and you know what? It's a serious allegation, and even if it's total bullshit, and she's a complete liar, they should have taken the time, spent it, and all the money that goes with it.
But I agree with you.
That's why.
But that's not the argument. I agree with you on that. That's not the argument. The argument is that we're right away placing it and saying that he's guilty.
Yeah, the burden of proof is guilty until proven innocent, right? Because it's not innocent until proven guilty.
No, it's innocent until proven guilty.
I don't know. It doesn't seem to work that way.
That is the exact problem.
Okay.
That is the exact problem. That we have this mindset that right away is guilty, and with the media and everybody having an opinion right away. And again, as I said it,
right.
Because then, going back to my
own perspective,
but my own personal story
yeah.
is somebody would say, you know what, he does this. He does a show called the Prickly Pear Show.
Right.
He does this and that. Oh yeah, and he's aggressive when he plays ball. I could see him because you said, oh, I hit people. Oh, I don't try to hurt people. No, but that's the thing. And all of a sudden, you're making this characterization where it's like so far from the truth that it's painful. So that's what I'm saying. It's like, and I always tell, prove it. I had literally somebody who said, I'm calling the police right now. Mm. I kid you not. I was like, please do. Please
right.
have them come over. I'd love to have a conversation. Please. But I'm going to show them the text. I'm going to show them. I mean, I have all the proof.
Right.
Like, literally, I had to tell her that I have it. She's like, oh, you got me. Like, this is how silly it is,
No,
because
listen,
they know
that's
it's
different.
dangerous today. I went out with a girl not long ago, and when I greeted her, I didn't approach to give her a hug and a kiss, like and she was like, whoa, like, did I do something? I was like, no, why? And she's like, oh, you didn't greet me in that way. And I was like, you know what? We don't really know each other, and I was a little bit worried about whether I should do something about it. And the fact that I now have to think this way, whereas before I was very, very friendly, now I have to think twice because of all these dumb allegations that are going on.
But that's a culture.
Now, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. I'm all for women's rights, and I feel bad for all the women who are telling the truth, that it's not out there.
This doesn't help.
But it's not about this doesn't help.
But
we don't know. If this was a clear, concise, this is what happened, then you would have found the truth.
But the point is that the truth was not allowed to be found because it wasn't in the interest of anyone to find the truth.
It should be in interest of her. It should be in her interest to continue with the lawsuit.
I would agree with you.
So why is she not doing it?
Well, maybe she just, maybe she doesn't want... Listen, she didn't want entirely to be there, and that says something as well. Mm-hmm. Look, let's not... I don't doubt that this was an attempt to block him from being the nominee.
And this is where really it should be about, and not necessarily about that. But you made it, you and a lot of people made it much, much bigger.
But I think rightfully so, it is much bigger. If this guy is the nominee for Supreme Court Justice, that's going to be the moral guide and compass of the United States and influence not just the U.S. but world decisions and politics and lawmakers and all this stuff, you've got to be pristine. Period. There shouldn't be anybody coming at you from anywhere.
I disagree, but that's
any kind of credence.
You live in a different world.
No, that's the reality.
When the minute you go up, you should know this. The minute you go up, there's always going to be somebody that wants to bring you down.
Of course.
At all costs.
Okay.
At all costs.
But you better know what you're playing with. You better know what's in your closet.
Yeah, but that's the thing. This person said that it wasn't. So again, do I believe him? Do I believe her? I don't believe any of them.
What does it say? The half the Senate, barely believe him. Half the country doesn't believe him.
Half the country was against Obama. Half the country is against Trump. Half the country is against Bush.
So there's
half the country.
Politics
there's
in it, right?
Absolutely always. Right. But
and
again, we want to get down,
in the politics.
which is the problem, which is the main problem.
Overtime. Ridiculous.
Well, listen, this was a big one. We should have probably had this as a regular topic as opposed to big deal or no big deal. So, by the end, it's a big deal for both of us.
I agree.
Okay.
All right.
Thanksgiving. So let's do this in a nice way. Like, what are you really thankful for?
I'm really thankful that I have my friends and my family, and I said this last week, and I'll say it every day. My 3 kids. I'm thankful for my wife, to be able to go home, see their smiles on their faces, know that maybe I have a small role to play in those smiles.
Nice.
And just that they
also
make
the tears.
me the tears for sure.
Right.
That they make me smile. We were very fortunate to have a birthday celebration in the family today for a nephew who turned 1, and it was nice to see everybody and just know that and then I have a family in Israel that they're getting married, and we got representation out there. So it's nice to know that family, which is very important to me, and friends who are very important to me, including you, are thriving and successful, and I wish everyone just peace and love. Peace and love.
So nice. Yeah. So nice. I'm thankful that I'm healthy. I think that I was neglecting this for a very long time.
Yeah.
I think every time somebody would ask me what am I thankful for, and it was the same PC answer: parents, family. No. But it's the standard. But I want to say that I'm thankful for being healthy. The other day I went to the mall to grab something to eat, and but if you're dieting, the bourbon chicken, that's probably the best thing to have because you get it
cleanse.
Well, no, it's you have the chicken, you got the vegetables, so it's
chicken
and
the vegetables, and then you get
whenever. No, but it's weird effects? Because you think like every time I think where am I going to go to eat when I'm dieting, and but bourbon chicken is right, but you don't always get to cook at home. But anyways, I saw a gentleman there, and he was in a wheelchair, and he was struggling, and I was just like, wow, like.
Thank God,
it's nothing. That's not what I thought about. I just said like I feel bad for this person, and I was just like, wow, I need to be more thankful that I have my 2 legs, I have my arms, like I'm still in good condition, and without health we're nothing. So my little thing is we should be more appreciative of our health than just what we have, because I think Thanksgiving it's like, oh, I have a house over my head and I have all this. Yeah, it's wonderful, but like you can have everything in the world, and if you don't have your health, then you have nothing. So I'm thankful that, you know, my family's healthy and many of my friends are healthy. And, you know, even though I saw many deaths in the last few years, including many close relatives, it does kind of put things in perspective. And I want to wish everybody, you know, health, and be thankful that that you still have, you know, it could be worse. And when it becomes worse, it's like that. Like, imagine you without, like, even a toe. If your big toe hurts, you don't have balance, and it's just a toe. That's all that it is. But all of a sudden, you're going to notice that you're having a lot of problems, you know, doing everything else that you were doing.
Right.
You can't be as helpful. You can't be as giving because you have to focus on you. So diet and all that is really about having a better, healthy year for myself. And I think that I am more useful to the world by being healthy because I can accomplish a lot more. So, you know, mentally and physically. Which would now take me to the last part that I want to share.
You did.
So October 10th is World Mental Health Day. And we're not going to have a show until next week. So I want to wish everybody an amazing health, mental and physical, of course. I was going through a lot of hard times in my life and didn't know how to deal with it. And I think it's something that I had to really train myself. You know, I get people today even calling me, asking me, hey, I'm having a panic attack. What do I do? And because of last year and what I went through, I was now able to be, you know, like a guide to certain people. And, you know, just you know, something simple. Or even to be that connection. It's funny that after the show today, I feel like I've kind of been the bad guy since, you know, almost as if it's like I'm against women's rights and, you know, it pushes them backwards. It's far from it. I'm just talking about the person, whether they're guilty or not, and then we can start a discussion as opposed to, you know, framing him as guilty and then trying to move forward. But for me, it's mostly about really being kind and helping people who are struggling and to not ignore you know, mental health issues.
Right.
And it's not just mental illness. We all have panic attacks, right? We all have something, you know, that we can't cope with in our lives. And I want to wish people strength. And hopefully this year, if things will turn out the way it should, then the film will be done. And I will be able to help a lot more people with it.
You know what? And we're looking forward to that. I think it's an important journey, and I know you're still working on that. And I'm glad that it's going to see the light of day.
It was supposed to be now, but you know the situation.
It's in its time.
We've had, but you know what? We have it in the can.
That's it.
So at the end of the day,
we'll get there.
We'll get there.
We want to say on that note, thank you everyone for watching. I'm going to shout out my buddy Mark, who alleges he's watching. I know you are. And thank you to all our audience and for your comments and your discussion. It was lively, and as always, we appreciate you guys being respectful for one each other, because we can always just agree to disagree, and that's it. We want to talk about the things that you want to talk about. As always, you can like us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at The Prickly Pear Show. Pear as in two of us. And, you know, keep it coming. Keep those ideas coming. Let us know what ideas, topics you want, suggestions. We're always open to making this a great show for you, and hopefully not as long.
What is it now? Oh my God,
$1.40 and change.
Okay, well, so, thank you again for joining us. Yeah. Any questions, anything, any suggestions? You want to come on our show?
Yeah.
You want to? Because we're looking for guests.
I think so.
We're looking now to get people, because we already built a rapport here.
Yeah.
We kind of know who's on one side, who's on the other.
Yeah.
We can play the game a little bit better than before.
Yeah. So get in the ring, and we'll be gentle but prickly.
Not so much.
No.
Don't give them false.
No. But it'll be good. We'll make good internet TV. Thanks for everyone. Happy Thanksgiving to you if you're celebrating. Happy long weekend if you're not.
Columbus Day.
Let's Day. Shout out to our American friends. Thanks for the tuning in from near and far and everywhere in between. Take care of each other. And this is for my little guy. He knows what it's about.
Is he still watching?
No, he's asleep.
Okay, he's asleep. But he'll watch the end of it.
He'll watch the end.
Very good.